Welcome to Forever Exile, the Path of Exile podcast. I am Tags, aka Justin.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
I don't remember if I do Justin, aka Tags, or Tags, aka Justin. I feel like I switch it up. You know, whatever I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling Tags today, I think. I think I'm feeling Tags.
All right, Tags.
So we are on episode 34 of Forever Exiled. We're pretty far in. Been a lot of fun. This is going to be a really fun episode. I can't even get words out because I'm excited. Now this is actually in a note I made later, but how is it only a week? There's so much for us to talk about. I can't believe that the league just came out. Now, when you're listening to this, it's technically as early as Sunday. So maybe like 9 days league's out. But for us, it's a week. We were recording this Friday night. It's been exactly a week. And I'm in shock that it's only been a week.
It's very super much a lot to talk about.
Super very much.
Super very much, yes.
Super very
so
much.
Anyway, our 45-minute, our normal 45 minutes, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, might be about 46 minutes this time.
We've never
around.
made it to 45 minutes ever.
That is our
Just
goal.
doesn't work.
It's
been thrown away. It's been thrown away. So we're going to get into POE stuff, but first off, now this is some pretty shocking news. Nobody would have seen this coming, but Mixer went down the pooper. Oh, it made me laugh so hard when I read that. What do you think?
Was that your first message? Was that your first message?
Well, first off, you were my only message. Nobody else cares. Nobody that we know cares about Mixer. Does that affect you? What are you going to do? You're going to switch to Twitch?
I did choose a long time ago to have Mixer as my priority.
Long time ago. Let's calm it right down.
A long time ago, I decided I wanted to have Mixer. No, a long time ago, I wanted Mixer. Come on, listen.
I'm not listening. I just get excited.
I know. But the one thing, like Google, Microsoft, they have a long history of purchasing somebody out and then trying to rebrand it to make it their own. You know, like market Microsoft more, market Google more. You know, like they'll take over a company. Like in this case, Microsoft took over Beam, didn't keep it as Beam and just invest in them to make them better. They just completely took over the company.
They know best.
Right.
Let's make it Mixer.
So anyway, and companies with that kind of reputation, or they have a reputation of, you know, they might end up bailing on it when it's no longer making money. Whereas something like Amazon, they invest in Twitch and nobody's worried. Because when's the last time Amazon tried to rebrand something?
I think people were worried in the beginning when Amazon bought Twitch, but it was made apparent really quick that they weren't going to try and change stuff, aside from the whole Prime thing, which has actually worked out to both their benefits.
Mm-hmm. And so anyway, I mean, from a personal standpoint, I mean, kind of sucks. I mean, it's not like I had anything going at 150 or something followers, but you know,
pretty bad though.
Twitch.
You know, and this is pretty crappy on Microsoft's point of view, that the people who actually were using it as a form of their income and that this was their job found out the same way you and I found out, which is a freaking tweet. That's a dick move. That's brutal. I saw some videos of people that found out during their live broadcast. Yeah.
And it's like, it's their livelihood.
Right.
And sure, they can go over to Facebook Gaming. It integrates right away. But
come on.
But who's going to follow? Like, look what even happened to the people that Mixer paid bajillions of dollars to go from Twitch to Mixer for, right? People don't follow. They just stay. They're like, oh, okay, well, I'll find someone else on the platform I'm already on. I
wonder what that cost Microsoft. Because, I mean, they paid big money to some of those streamers to come over.
Oh, huge.
And those guys got paid. They got paid even though this is stopping. So,
yeah.
Anyway, it made me laugh.
Twitch makes it easy to go to because Amazon they just invest in the company. You know, Twitch still feels like an independent company almost because it's just more solid and stable.
It's been around, and I think they're making some really good adjustments moving forward. Mm-hmm. So I think it's been positive.
Yeah. Thanks for making fun of me.
No problem. All right. Before we get into this crazy big episode, we got to give a quick shout out to our patrons. We got two new ones to talk about this week, Foog and Ashara. Thank you both for joining the crew.
You're the best.
Yeah. Hopefully you're enjoying After Dark. And if you're interested in finding out what our patron is, you can find the link down below. And we do an After Dark episode after each of these episodes just for fun. We chat about stuff, things. It's
not always POE, but it's almost always POE.
That's right. Anyway, thanks a lot, Foog and Ashar, for joining the team, and everybody else that's been supporting the podcast, and everybody who's just listening too. We love all your faces. All right. Tell me about your week. what was this week like for you? Can you tell me a non-POE week? Was there a
those
non-POE
are
week?
pretty tough POE weeks. No, it was.
What was life like for Tyler?
Well, did a lot of gardening, a lot of POE that I'm not allowed to talk about yet. Got the kids outside a lot.
Weather was awesome.
Yeah, it was a really good week where we are, and no, it was like it was busy. All of a sudden, we're doing another podcast as opposed to it actually feeling like a week. But it was just a normal good family week.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, no, yeah, that's it. Couldn't think of anything.
That sounds good.
Good. How about you? How was yours?
It was awesome. I had a great week. It was a lot of work. I multiple times, thankfully nobody I really know listens to this, because I was in meetings playing POE. Like literally camera on me. We were doing training for some of our staff and I was leveling. Yep. I was talking to people in Discord and in the private league, and I was laughing about the fact that I think somebody said, "Oh, you're never on this early," and I was like, "Shh." I have to move my hands very slowly as I'm leveling.
That's right. Someone's asking you accounting questions and you're killing Cyrus at the same time.
Yeah. So this week, work-wise, was absolutely nuts, and thankfully it's coming to a slight slow now. So but it was a lot of POE. So let's just get into POE week, because who really cares about our personal week?
What? Yeah.
I am working on my grass still. It's coming along.
You're Louisiana sawgrass. Is it Louisiana sawgrass?
No.
Is that what it's called?
Kentucky
Louisiana
bluegrass.
Kentucky bluegrass. That's
close.
right. Do they talk? I don't think they talk like that.
I have no idea, but it's Kentucky bluegrass. Okay.
Do you think you have an accent?
I would assume I do. I don't know. I never hear it.
Doesn't sound like we do, but then when somebody talks to me, it's like, oh, I can tell by your accent. I'm like, oh,
you Canadian,
weird.
Talking about.
I'm going about.
Yeah. All right. So tell me about your POE week. Break it down for me, Tyler.
Break it down. Well, I heard about the Mixer news, and I know you love to make fun of me for my affinity to Microsoft, but I really didn't care. I'm like, oh wow, like I thought you were just joking, so I looked into it, and I'm like, oh neat. And I shrugged my shoulders, and I'm like, I guess I'm going to Twitch, which is totally cool, because I mean, it's nice to actually almost have no choice, because now I can use the product.
It's like when Microsoft got rid of the Windows Phone. You finally had no choice but to make a smart decision. That's right.
That's right. Yeah. Now I'm capable of making a smart decision. But no, now I get to use the product that's integrated into the POE website. So now all the broadcasting I do, I'll get the little Twitch logo by my name, and that's kind of fun, right?
Cool.
But it was good. I made an example video for my Righteous Fire build.
I saw you did a YouTube. Nice.
You saw?
I saw that you were doing one. Like I saw you tweeted that you were putting a video out or something, I think.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Okay. I thought maybe you followed me on YouTube when you were a nice friend.
I might have. I don't know. I clicked it, but then I was like, oh God, what is this console? Ugh.
I don't know. AX? What is that? But yeah, no, console came out, or 3.11.0E came out on console on our Wednesday. So I made an example video as fast as I could. I had to blitz making the console filters updated, because they don't give you that 3-hour window like you get in PC, like, hey, Realm's going down, 3 hours, hey, Realm's up. For a league launch. On console, it's just the patch gets deployed whenever, and then you just have to kind of expect it to be punctual. So did that, and got a couple nights of, I think 2, maybe 3 nights this week of POE, which is pretty unheard of, so that's awesome. And I'm on my final draft of my new filter layout.
You've got another one?
I know I did that last league, but
now this is the one. Yeah.
This is my first league where I'm getting the information new, right? This is my first league where I'm getting the information from their post, and then, I mean, they don't give you a lot of information. They don't even tell you if they're base types or classes, but do what I can with it. And so I'm good. It's good. I mean, my filters are up to date. I'm just changing how they look. So next league, it's easier for me.
How's your build going?
Oh, it's awesome. Yep. Rock solid.
This is the Cyclone SRS.
It is Cyclone SRS Guardian. Oh man, its damage is really strong. I'm finding the hybrid portion useless so far. I'm finding that I just constantly take damage, that my energy shield's always depleted.
Sure.
The Wicked Ward, which is supposed to be, when I haven't taken damage or when my energy shield starts to recharge,
Right.
it keeps recharging even if I've taken damage.
Mm-hmm.
I find that maybe it's just the new league mechanic. I don't know what it is, but I'm finding my energy shield's always depleted. And with the style of play that this build is, I'm always getting hit. So I might look into taking out that 200% energy shield I have on the tree and seeing if I could stack on. Yeah. Life's kind of, yeah.
That's not uncommon until you have a lot of ES. You got to have a pretty reason. And what level are you?
Mid 70s. I think I'm 75, 6, something like that. 78. See, flying. Nobody's even hit 78 yet. I'm probably number 1 in the league.
You're definitely not, but you're not at the bottom.
I think I'm still in double digits though. But anyway, it's doing well. It's a lot stronger actually than I expected it to be, especially after the decrease to minion damage nodes all across the tree. So I'm quite enjoying it a lot. It's pretty sweet. And I'm getting a lot of questions about it to the point where I actually made a post with the picture of the guide.
Yep.
Or not the guide, but just the passive tree and the gems, just so that it's an easy, quick reference, because I'm actually getting asked a lot about it on broadcasts and stuff.
I have a jewel for you. It's waiting.
Ooh, yeah. In a previous episode, you said you were going to buy all my gear for me. Well, bring it.
We're in a private league, so you got it.
Bring it.
There's not a whole lot to pick from right now.
How's yours? How's your build?
This league, this whole build, okay. I can't believe we're a week in, because in this 1 week, I have done more in this league than I did in all of Delirium.
Interesting.
First off, no big deal, Ty, because this is never going to come up again. But I got to see a lot of tags, was the first to go like into the zones.
Hey, all that yellow text at the top.
Never see that normally. I got a lot. I was the first to kill Cyrus.
Hey.
I mean, come on now.
That's impressive.
I totally changed how I'm dealing with the Atlas this league, which is the first time I've ever done it. So typically I don't pay much attention to it. Ever since, I can't even think how far back I would have to go, but there was a league where I was really heavy into Strand back when Strand was a thing, and you could tailor the Atlas to be just dropping strands. And I did it, and I found it killed me because it was just constantly doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So then I just stopped and I did whatever I wanted. I would just do the maps that would drop. I would slowly progress a zone out, and whatever. And then leading up to this league, I'd read some things on maybe Reddit, or I saw a video or something, and they were talking about like how you can efficiently run through the Atlas to try and get those watchstones earlier and to progress the Atlas further out. Oh, it's been so fun. It's been so much fun because it pushed me into red maps very, very quickly. And I've been able to, it doesn't have the greatest sustain, this league, I'm finding. I found like I've had other leagues where I was getting better sustain in maps, but it's not been terrible. But yeah, it let me get to Awakener 5 relatively quickly. Got in and fought Cyrus. Ball Lightning with mines is nuts. Like you can just prelay so much damage, and you found me a unique item, which is
you're welcome.
One that I really wanted, which was the Tremor Rod.
I'm just your sugar mama.
Which was awesome. And this league is so much better for getting 5 links because of the harvest crafting. So
yep.
I actually have a 5-link chest, which I'm not even using. 5-link staff. But yeah, Ball Lightning has been crazy, crazy strong. And so, yeah, just this whole new way of dealing with the Atlas has made it fun. And so this week alone, I think I'm 91. I was at the top of our league, but I just refreshed and noticed that Garden and Hoe is ahead of me now.
Oh, what a hoe.
Yeah. I'm going to have to fight that. We're going to have to rush through the rest of this because I got to.
You know what? They accidentally got deleted from the league.
Oh no.
Oh no.
We actually have that turned off.
Do you want to talk about, I'm curious how you're actually going through the Atlas. Is that short enough to include in this episode? Do you want to do it now or later?
No, I'll do it right now. Basically, we can talk about it if people are curious, because it's actually very clever. And the one difficulty was that the 3.11 Atlas was not released like it normally is before the league, where you can actually see it without any fog of war, and I can see like where the maps are. And you eventually found me the link, which was a big lifesaver, because I could not find what the 3.11 Atlas layout was for maps. But the idea behind it is that you are rushing as fast as you can with the least amount of maps to get to the outside edges, the outside 4 corners. And you have to actually pay attention to which maps they are and not run any other maps that are in that tier so that you can push as fast as you can to the outside, because you have to be on the outside 4 corners to get the watchstones. They will only start in the outside 4 corners. Four. That's right, the first 4. And so it was rushing to those outside ones. And then, the nice thing is when you're getting your first 12 or 16 watchstones, they drop very quickly when you start those maps. Like you don't have to run multiple maps in that zone to get it.
So you're refusing to do any maps besides the ones in that like one trail
that's right,
perchance chosen.
I picked the shortest route.
And you refuse to do anything else.
That's right. And it gets me.
But you have to do what you've been given, right?
Right. And I had to like find combinations of talking to Xana, because we're in a private league. So there's not a whole lot. If you were in a trade league, it's probably a lot easier, because you could actually just not do any and just buy maps for the outside edge. And, you could do that, but we were in a trade league, so I couldn't. So it was rushing to the 4 corners. And then once you have those 4 corners done, you seat the watchstones into the 4 inside ones, and then you work your way back down. And so you basically work your way out, then work your way back down. And then you just once you've got that, it's actually easy, because you've got 8 watchstones at that point. And then you're starting to just figure out, where do I have maps? Because you can make, once you have the outside edge, you can actually get them all to spawn quite easily.
So once you have 8 watchstones, it turns into like normal atlasing.
Relatively normal. What happened is, by the time I got to Awakener 5, I had an atlas that was pretty sparse with regards to like map completions. Yeah, I couldn't even see any of Turn's End. I couldn't see any of the, like I had like two or 3 maps in that whole section done. And so now that I've got Cyrus dead, and now I'm just starting to fill the atlas and do the maps that I want. But it was just a fun way to deal with it, because I've never done that before. I've always just like gone, okay, whatever. And so this time I was like, oh no, I really want to push to get the watchstones. I didn't even fight Cyrus last league at all.
No. And this league, 1 week in, you're like, I killed him.
No big deal. Yeah. Whatever. That being said, I know there are some bugs that we might talk about or whatever, but I had, the maze that you have to run through of his.
Yeah.
It didn't have any textures once. Now, thankfully, the sparks for the area I had to come out were there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was a little bit hard that way. But no, so far the start of this league for me has been a ton of fun, and not even so much because of Harvest. And we're going to talk about Harvest, but like, I just really like, I like the changes. I don't know what it is. I like the changes to the skills. I'm not even using anything that's like, crazy new. But I've gotten some incredibly good drops. The Harvest thing makes some things a whole lot easier, and it's been fun. The people in the trade league have been a blast to play with. So no, it's been a really good start for me. I've had a lot of fun this week.
Awesome. So before we get into all like this week in POE, it's so busy, as we've referenced a couple of times. But before we get more into it, a couple community shout outs. Congratulations to friend of the show, Octavian, got hired by GGG. So congratulations, Octavian. If you hear this, we're very happy for you.
Very cool.
Hope the move, or however it goes very smoothly, and you transition well into the company.
Sounds like he's going to be doing a lot of work remotely still from his house to see if he fits in with the design team, I think. But that's very cool. Good for him.
Good for you. That's always exciting. It's cool.
Yep.
And I also wanted to give a big shout out to the Wiki team. The official Path of Exile wiki, the wiki was so up to date, so fast, with good detail. A lot of the times it takes, a few days for what I'm looking for to be ready, or, a gem will be added, but they'll have, for 2 leagues, it'll have no gem description on how it works. Really thorough and awesome job. So I just wanted to shout out. I mean, we always talk about using the wiki, but we never really give them a shout out. So big thank you to everybody, and you did a great job. Great job on this patch, or this league launch. Good for you. Yay. Unsung heroes of the POE community.
Yes, they are, Tyler. Unsung heroes. We got unsung heroes and friends of the show all in one episode. Look at you.
That's great. Yeah, busy stuff.
All right, so let's get into POE, because this is, come on. We just got stuff for days to talk about.
This week in POE land.
Let's start with patches.
Okay.
There were a number of patches. I think all were hot fixes. I feel like almost all of them were restart less. However, I will say when they say restart less and you're using Steam and you had the game closed, oh, fix it. It's so annoying. I don't know what I have like, and I know it has nothing to do with my computer because everybody has this issue. What is it pre-allocating? Just install the damn patch and let me play.
That's the whole reason I uninstalled it from Steam and I reinstalled it from their client.
You know, I posted a picture when the league came out because everybody was getting excited about starting to download the it was like a 14 gig patch or something. And I posted a picture because I had like 150 meg download speeds and it finished downloading in minutes. And now I'm downloading this tiny little restartless patch and it's taking longer for me to get back into the game from this dumb patch. Anyway, so there were a lot of, it seems like hotfix restart less patches and they were awesome. Like we're going to get into Harvest. One of my favorite ones just came out, which is that they upped how many seeds drop based on the tier that you're doing, which is a really nice fix because when you're running around in like the tier 14 and up and you're still only getting like 4 or 5 seeds, it was kind of like, okay. And then
skip.
Yeah. But boy, did they ever upgrade it or increase it. It's like, I think the most I've had now is 39. And I've seen some people on Reddit with way higher than that are dropping.
Yeah.
Which I like.
They've doubled the amount of seeds that drop in a tier 16 map, essentially. It scales up. Like you're not getting double in tier 1, but you're getting more and more as you go through. And now it's twice as much in the high tier maps.
Yeah, no, it's I can't think of any of the hot fixes they've done. I know there's a lot of stuff coming up, like with, changes that they're hoping to make and some of the craft. They added now when you're in the harvest and you're looking at the craft, now the information has a new color on it and you can actually see it. I know they've got plans to fix that even more. It's been a good, like their patches have been really good.
Rock solid. The weighting of crafting outcomes has been fixed and improved too. So that's nice, right? Based on, what's going to show up and how often. But I really wanted to point out like these hot fixes, like sure, there's some that are based on crashes. I've had a few crashes going through, but I haven't lost anything. And not in an offenseful way, but we're kind of used to if you're playing POE in the first week, it's going to crash. Yep. It's an unfortunate, thing, but this is the most stable. I think we said this last time, but we were only one day in. This is the most stable release I can ever think of.
Yeah, it's been really stable.
I can't think of anything more stable.
Slightly
like just
glitchy,
in terms of,
but not unstable. Like Vulkan rendering has been weird and flashy sometimes, but it's not ever stopped me from playing.
In minor things.
Yeah, it's
not
minor things. And it's not changed me being able to play at all, which is awesome.
Yeah. And think about like the serious stuff that they've implemented. One, like they've added Vulkan, they've added a color, they've added a brand new league. I mean, normally around this point in a league, the patch notes are about very severe things. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And here we're getting like the patch notes that you'd normally get a month into the league after all the serious stuff is finally taken care of, like all the rebalancing and all the major issues, all huge issues. And here it's like, it's such a stable release that we're getting the patch notes that normally come out a month after league launch. You know what I mean? And so like some people, maybe they just don't understand how business works, but they freaked out when Tencent came into the picture. But when you have an investor like Tencent and you can up your game and the amount of money you're putting into each leagues, when you look at the patch notes, it's like, this is a very stable release. It's not a small release. It's all working out really well. I'm very impressed.
It's been a really good start. It's been a really fun first week.
Yes, it has.
I haven't been like frustrated with things that just wouldn't let me play, which we have definitely had before.
Yeah. Well, now I got to catch up. Now I got to kill Saris, Awaken her 8 just to catch up with you.
Just get to maps. You're in maps now.
I'm in maps. Get out of here. I was mapping by myself the other day. Oh, I'm crushing those white maps. You see they released mystery boxes?
Yes, and I loved them. I really liked the look of them. And I bought some. I bought many of them. And then I got 5 as a gift. Actually, a big shout out to Wormath. He's the guy I met in Exile Con. Super nice guy. And we had a bet to see who would get Alpha 7 first.
Oh, and you won.
And I didn't even say anything. He messaged me. He's like, "Oh, I heard. Yeah, I heard. I think you heard on the podcast or something that I got it's out to Alva to 7." He's like, "I got to send you the points." I'm like, "No, dude, don't worry about it. Like, it's fine. It's no big deal." He's like, "No, bet's a bet." And then I just left it. And then he messages me one day. He's like, "Hey, you should have 5 boxes waiting for you. What 5 mystery boxes?" And he was laughing about how hard it was to deal with support to get them to do it. And I was like, "Oh, trust me, I know. When we did our giveaway, good Lord, the things you have to answer about." Somehow I'm impressed and slightly worried about how much information he knows about me, because he had to provide it to GGG without asking me. And he knew the answers to it, which I thought was hilarious. But anyway, so
That's
big
awesome.
shout out to him. So I got 5 of them.
It's a legit guy, legit dude.
Yep. I like them. I really like the mystery boxes. To me, though, are slightly frustrating. I still don't like that I get doubles and you can't do anything with it. And MTX hideout stuff is dumb. I don't want MTX for my hideout.
There's a reason they make it common.
So yeah, I mean, I have a fire unicorn, so that's a thing.
Oh, aren't they so cool? They look
it's
so
huge.
awesome.
It's so big.
They look huge. Yeah.
It's so big.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, what
so
do
you
think
just
of
need
them?
one more? Oh, I think they're really cool. Now, here's something. Normally, I'm the kind of person where, and you make fun of me even outside of the podcast for just being a really old, grumpy man.
Well,
okay, you have to admit that one.
Yeah,
you picture me yelling at people from my porch that I don't have to slow down.
You have a chair sitting on your front lawn, outside your garden, to yell at people.
Oh man, I'm gonna throw my cane.
I drove
at some
past
of these
his
cars.
house once, and he told me to slow down.
Well, slow down.
Doing like
Anyway.
20 kilometers per hour. That's like 5 miles per hour. Anyway.
So, I'm normally kind of a stickler when I see these shows or like just character models of sci-fi or fantasy RPGs where it's just like there's just so much skin, you know, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like you can make something look really cool without the skin, right? It doesn't have to be
what do you
over
mean?
the top
Oh,
sexy.
the skin, like
just in general, you
like
see so
MTX.
much of this stuff around in fantasy
I
world.
can't tell if you're talking skin like, my actual skin.
No, I'm talking like skin.
Because you want to see real skin.
Like like boobs and navels.
That's right.
And that's right, because navels is a sexy word. And
navels.
Do you see my
look
navel?
at that navel.
He must work out. So anyway, no, but normally I'm like a stickler, like, close it up. You can make things look so much cooler, Anyway, I actually think the amount of skin that's shown on these skins is actually cool. Like it suits the theme that they're going for. And I really like them. Like they're both like barely covered, I guess, but I think it looks really cool. And when the combined version, which is always like $80,
they always look so
store,
much better because they're friggin' impossible to get.
Sometimes
I have the Innocence and Sin wings, and I love them.
Oh yeah,
the combined.
And
wings.
you have the cherubims too. They leave a cool trail. But this combo, I don't know if you've ever seen it. The Netflix original called The Dragon Prince.
Mm-hmm.
The combo really reminds me of that, and I love that show. So I'm stoked to get some of those horse pets later too.
Yeah, I don't know that I'll buy any more boxes now, just because I always get really excited and then very quickly feel a serious shaft. And it's funny, I was actually thinking about a conversation we had with the whole gambling tag and the NVIDIA thing. Yeah. And this is to me where it comes from. And that's fine. There is gambling to this. And we've talked about how there's gambling in the game with regards to crafts. And
you talked about it.
On.
I thought you were an idiot.
You want to know what's funny? You think I'm an idiot? They have a card called the Gambler in their game that gives you a random divination card. It literally, I saw that. I was like, oh my God, this card proves my point. I love it.
No.
Yep. It 100% does.
Get out of here. You're just like
conversation one
for stuff.
Tags.
Let's go back to skin. Okay. Did you see that they came out with some new skins?
Yeah, I did. Well, I don't really care about many of them. Yeah, go ahead. You talk about them. I like that they're celestial. Thank God they brought more celestial.
So a long time ago, over 20 years ago, when I was in elementary school, there was a time where my dad was making my lunches for me before I could do that. And I liked peanut butter and banana sandwiches then. Okay. Like it was good. I liked it. So my dad, not normally being the lunch maker, but for that year he was, made me peanut butter and banana sandwiches every day. And I don't know if it was halfway through the year or at the end of the year, but let's just say I'm in my 30s now, and I still can't even come close to a peanut butter and banana sandwich. So I like peanut butter, I like bananas, but because I was so overdosed with them, I can't freaking stand them.
I'm just going to interrupt you to say that that's my kids with jam sandwiches, because we weren't allowed to send peanut butter to school because there's kids that are like allergic to it. And if I'm the one that has to make lunches for them in the morning, they are effed, because it's a jam sandwich every time. I don't have time to make these fancy things. My wife, she does all the crazy stuff. No, they know if dad made it, it's like, oh, damn it. I'm getting a jam sandwich.
Yeah. So anyway, when I see new skins come out, you know, it's like me being at school and I'm like, oh, sweet, I'm starving. It's lunchtime. Great. It's oh, right. Of course, it's a peanut butter and jam sandwich.
Are you relating Celestial
banana sandwich?
To a banana?
Now when I see new skins come out, I'm all excited. I'm like, yeah. Oh, wait. And then I see Celeste and I'm like, oh, I don't even care what it's for. Like, it's just so much peanut butter and banana. It's just so much Celestial.
It is a lot of
over
Celestial.
and over and over. Now, that's just me not liking it. Like, if I liked Celestial, great. I get that it's their biggest seller. I just wish that they would, if they came out with a Celestial skin, they would come out with one other skin of a different type.
It's the old man in you coming out.
It is. But for those that like Celestial, they came out with a Molten Strike, Tectonic Slam, and Ice Nova. That's all the time I'm going to give it. Also, they did, though, after that post, they released a Harvest Hat, which...
Wait, wasn't the Harvest Hat? Isn't that the thing you get when you complete Act 10?
No, that is the to celebrate the South Korean partnership. It's the Dragon Hat.
I
That's
got it
different.
when I did 10. Okay.
The Harvest Hat, I believe, is purchasable, and then they actually just went not bonkers, because it's nice to have new themes, but they came out with a completely new dark magic theme. So there's the whole armor set, the aura, the wings,
does it look good?
The weapon effects. Yeah, it's cool. To me, I like to match it with...
When your voice goes to that octave, I'm not sure I believe you.
So a long time ago, I guess until this podcast anyway, I always thought I had a deep voice. It's probably a little bit deeper now because I'm
Hold on, you're really pushing it down now. Get it low, Tyler.
But then when I moved to Brazil and I started speaking a language I'd never even heard of before, because I was that naive then, I was talking really high because I was never sure if I was saying it right, and I was always really talking high. And ever since then, I left my deep voice behind and I've kept my high voice. So you can make fun of me as much as you like.
Don't worry about it. You're fine.
Well, no, not now. Now I'm paying attention to it and it's super sexy.
Can you rush us through this next terribly boring comment and section that nobody cares about? Thank you for moving back.
Console launched on Wednesday. So they added... This is going to sound lame as a PC snob, but they added chat for console, which is really cool, because even though it's a pain in the butt to type on console, you can now share your items and show your items with the people that you're partying with or showing off with just via that. You can just quickly click on something to share and show what the mods are. Before, you had to go into the trade screen and like unload everything and put it in and then just not accept the trade to show people what you had. So that's pretty sweet. Console, like I said at the beginning, it's already up to E. It's up to date with all the patches. I hate you. He's just like smirking and smiling at me.
We got a feature that's been around for 8 years.
I'm going, hey,
I'm really happy.
If I edited this, I would edit out everything you had to. And I would just put in like, oh, wow, Tyler, that's awesome. So anyway, normally there's certain things that are guaranteed to be a little bit glitchy with the console league release. Obviously not intentional, but it's always, filters. There's some map issues, right? You've heard me talk about, the map conversion, stuff like that.
Yep.
All of that 100% smooth this time around.
That's only because it's not Christmas time.
Oh, well, we'll come up to that. Mm-hmm. Map conversion worked awesome. And I play standard. So for any of you standard folk, PC or console, I was actually a little bit worried. I did some high tier maps with legacy maps to try and refill my console, and it didn't work, or to refill my Atlas, and it didn't work. And I was a little bit nervous about it. But then when I added all the watchstones that I've earned and then did a legacy map, it filled out my Atlas. So for you standard players not figuring out how to do it, that's how you do it. You got to put in all your watchstones, then you do your legacy map, and then it's unlocked.
See, we give tips to even like the smallest amount of people out there.
I don't know, man. I think PC's dead and League is dead. I think standard consoles
where
the new wave. That's where it is.
That's right.
You just shove it. All right. Anyway, but no, that's nice.
that
Like, remember last
Okay,
league, I
there's more.
had an issue. Yeah, whatever. Last league, I had the issue where I was doing the legitimate progress, but I lost out on earning watchstones for that whole sequence. And I assumed that it was because league launched mid-influence. So this league, they fixed it by removing all previous existing influence. So I've lost all my progress. So for those who also play standard, next time around, make sure you finish up your influence paths and complete them before league launch, because you'll lose that progress if you don't. But they fixed it. So now, like, I'm not missing out on watchstones or anything like that. Was that fast enough for console for you?
Yep. So now everyone can tune back in. Welcome back to Forever Exile, the Path of Exile, episode 34. We are still on this episode. All right. So I want to get into this because it was a point of contention and it was ridiculous. So let's get into it. They brought in 3 new stash tabs.
We'll try and be as fast as we can, but it might take up the rest
I don't
of the
care. We're not in a rush. It's our show. So they brought in 3 new stash tabs. It was for Blight, Metamorph, and Delirium. And they were individual for the different things that are within those particular leagues. And they sold them it was being sold at on sale for 100 points, which is $10 if you bought all 3. I think they're 40 points each normally. Yep.
Save $2.
Now, I'm going to give you my side because I do want to hear your side. I'm really curious about it, but I'm going to say my piece first. First off, I bought them. I bought them because I support GGG and I don't mind buying them. I get that some people don't like them, and I'm going to say first off, I was so irritated, and this is a relatively common comment from me, but God, the people on Reddit just, I don't get it. Like, do they just have nothing but time to bitch about the dumbest stuff? You know what?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like these stash tabs, don't buy them. You know what? I'll be honest. I bought them. They're not great. I don't think they're super useful. I don't need them. The amount of blighted now, again, we're relatively weird. No, we are. We're casual players. We're not like hardcore. This was like the first time I've ever played this hard into a week or a week into a league. Loved it. There's no way it carries on for me. I understand that. I don't find enough blighted tabs to fill like, I don't know what it was, 60 or something. Won't find them. Oils?
Yeah.
Never. I'll never find enough. When I get into a trade league, I buy them. Let's go Metamorph. Oh, come on. Metamorph is one of the biggest wastes of a tab. But I'm fine with that. Again, I'm coming from a point of view where I don't mind spending $10 to support GGG. And in response, I get 3 tabs that are kind of fun to look at. But I will not use them or fill them. I mean, I'll use them in the sense that I'll dump stuff into them, but they're not useful to me. You know, like the friggin' catalysts. Come on. I don't even like those things anyway. So
you'll get 20 body parts the whole league.
Right. And then Delirium. So now, again, Delirium's the same thing. You get the fragments that are going to turn into Simulacrum. Yeah, right. I've seen like 1 in this whole week in maps. I've seen 1 Delirium mirror. So I'm not.
No.
Yep. 1. I've seen 1 since I got to maps. In this whole time that I've played, and I'm full clearing maps, I've seen 1.
I've had lots.
So
I already have an orb and everything.
I had some leveling. I did get an orb too. I feel like they just gave that to me. And then I got like maybe 4 or 5 cluster jewels, which we're going to talk about cluster jewels anyway. But but not that those not that those go into the Delirium tab, because why would they? I mean, they're from Delirium, but whatever. Now, my argument, I understand where people are coming from in the sense that you could very easily have tied some of those tabs into pre-existing tabs. I wouldn't, I would never disagree with that because I agree with it 100%. I would love to have seen them, maybe even if they sold the ability to upgrade like the fragment tab or something. I don't know what the solution would have been. But it would have been nice not to have 3 extra tabs, because it is 3 extra tabs you got to scroll through when you're sorting stuff out. They talked about some of the things that might come in the future. One of them, which I think is amazing, which would be the ability to just control click, and you would predetermine which tab is going to accept your different currencies. I would really like that. But I also can totally see why they would not go that direction, because it is slightly pay to win. If I can just have a giant quad stash tab as my dump tab, and I just control click everything in my inventory, I'm going to get to maps faster than somebody who's going to have to sort that out later. Hands down. It is true, but I don't care. I really don't care. I'm not min-maxing this game. Like, I like to min-max my build, but I'm not out there to be the fastest mapper, the most efficient. I'm playing a game to have fun. I did not have to buy the tabs. If I actually was like, I hated them so much, which again, I don't actually like them. I don't find that they're going to be super useful, but it was $10 to support GGG. There was nothing else I was going to put that, 100 points towards. There was nothing else I really wanted. So I bought them. I like them. They'll sit there. I'm fine with that. I don't get it. If you have the option to not buy something that is not necessary, it is like, if you have a normal size tab, I promise you can probably fit everything into there. I wish that they would add blighted maps to be searchable through the normal map tab. I do think that should have been done versus having this whole tab that you're putting them into. But again, it's what they did.
I like what they did. I don't know. I interrupted you. Go.
No, my thing in the end is just, if they bring something in that affects the game, and actually like in a way maybe wrecks the game for you or is causing the game to be worse, then you know what? You get those typing fingers out and you type as many words as you think you can and get it onto Reddit and get people to give you high fives and whatever else they give you on Reddit. But if you're just going on there to be a baby about, well, I don't like that you didn't do the tabs the way I want them to, and that you didn't like, then don't buy it.
Yeah, go play WoW.
There's nothing in there that requires you to have those tabs. Like in my personal opinion, you need a currency tab and you need a map tab. Those are the two tabs I would really struggle to do without. Yep. I have all of the tabs. I have a lot of quad tabs and I have a lot of the premium tabs. I don't use 70% of them at least. But I also understand that the reason I got the tabs was because I was given $10 to support GGG.
Yep.
I'm all right with that. Whether I use them or not, if I was so against it, I just wouldn't buy the tabs. I would buy something else. Like it's amazing to me, just the uproar that it caused with people.
Yeah. I bought on console. I bought the pack. I have all three on console. I really like how the tabs work. And then on PC, I'm not going to. Like, I don't have a lot of the special tabs on PC because I just play with you. Like, I'm going to vendor my uniques for Alk shards if you and I can't use them, because I'd rather have Alks than just fill up my stash tab and never use it. So, but yeah, you don't have to get it. You know what I mean? And you don't have to use it. And if you have a more efficient way, keep it going. The thing that I like about this, though, I like that they kept the league separate. You're going to every single thing for a separate reason. Like, I even like that blighted maps are in their own section. I hated when I was in the map tab and I'm like, oh, sweet, I actually do have a summit. Okay, awesome. I go, oh, it's blighted. Okay, no, I'm not progressing the Atlas with the blighted map. I like that they're separate. When you want to do blighted, you're doing blighted. You know what I mean? You're going, what you want to do already. So I'm fine going to that tab. I really like what they've done. And I mean, obviously, like every other tab, you can stack tons of it. So how great is that you don't have to have just a normal quad tab where you have to do the searching, Control F or console search to do stuff. It's so much easier. I really like it. And the thing that I really like, and I don't think GGG gets enough credit for this, is these nice quality of life tabs are so cheap. These were $4 each without the sale. I mean, that's so good. I mean, people have been begging for these three tabs, or the items that go into these three tabs, to have special tabs for so long, and they made them $4 each. They could have made them $8 each, $9 each, and they probably would have sold almost as many. I don't know. Like, the stuff that costs outrageous, like you've got to be kidding me prices, are the MTX. They're not the stash tabs. And here, to go on with kind of some of your arguments, because one thing that I think would be absolutely so hard to remember every single time someone complains about something, if you're a GGG staff member, is the people that complain, that say, oh, I need a stash tab for this. I need a stash tab for this. You guys are ridiculous. You don't care about us. We need a stash tab for this. When the stash tabs come out, it's more than likely not the exact same people that are saying, we hate the stash tabs. I mean, sure, a small percentage might be the same people that were complaining before and after, but it's probably just different people now that are complaining, but it sounds like the same voice because it's still the same community. It's got to be so hard to like push that aside and know you still did the right thing, and just to kind of push the noise aside.
Well, it's one of the you don't often see Chris have to put out like a post explaining the situation to people and saying like, here's why we did this and maybe we need to do that. You know what? I can understand the counter argument to what we're saying. I understand it. I get that. Yeah, maybe it would have been nice to have them combined into existing tabs and maybe instead of it being 3, maybe they could have found a way to make it 1. I don't disagree with them, but I also would say then don't buy it.
Yeah.
Like if you're so against it, just don't buy it. There's nothing in them that's necessary at all. They are not useful tabs. I'll be honest, as someone who even bought them, they're not useful. I could put those into a normal tab and be just fine.
Well, I think it's sad that he had to write that he had to come up with an announcement called the future of stash tabs. What do people think? Do they actually think that GGG isn't aware that when you bring up your world map, that those locations listed on the right are getting bigger and there's more of them? Do you actually think they don't notice? Do you actually think that they don't realize that they now have, 10 specific premium tabs? Like, you think they don't know? They're working on stuff in the background, and just because we haven't heard about it doesn't mean they're just sitting there staring at a wall until people yell loud enough.
I saw posts from people that were pulling in a video clip from Exile, I guess, where Chris said that they weren't going to do any more. They didn't want to do any more currency tabs, and they didn't want to do tabs per league, which I hope that they don't do a tab per league, because I don't actually want to have to scroll through that many tabs. But I was laughing to Ethan that I'm like, we were at Exile, and what do people write down what people say? I didn't even remember that he had even said that, but people were like right on him about, well, you said this. And I didn't, to be honest, I didn't watch the video because I didn't care. In the end, I'm just like, don't buy the damn tabs. Yeah. Why are you screaming and yelling so much? Just don't buy them. You don't have to buy them.
Pretty crazy.
There's nothing in them that's necessary to play the game. It's not efficient. And if they eventually bring in this whole auto sorting type idea, which I think would be amazing. I really hope that they do it. It hasn't slowed you down. It hasn't, like, I hope they make that a paid feature. People just explode. Yeah. I saw his future of future stash, and he got annihilated on that one too. You just can't win. Like, it's just, Reddit is just full of, I read a comment from somebody in Reddit, which was, I know I'm going to get the wording wrong, but it was basically stating that, the people on Reddit are the people who are like super hardcore and taking it super seriously. I don't think they represent the majority of the player base. I think they're just the loudest of the player base. That's what I think. And that's not to say that everybody on Reddit is a douchebag, but the ones that are on there yelling to make their point known above everyone else, because their opinion is more important than everyone else. Just don't buy the damn tabs.
You know what's really funny? All they did was release 3 specialty premium tabs. That's it. That's all they did. And it was great. It's great. And for some reason, they get the crap kicked out of them.
Well, and yeah, I mean, we're going to talk.
And he didn't even come out with a second currency stash tab, exactly like he said he wouldn't.
Well, you could argue that they're kind of currency, right?
Well, then that means every single one
of course it is
like a currency one.
Yes.
No, we know what he means. We're not like trying to pull him apart.
You know what?
I hate people.
It's fun to read sometimes, but I do feel bad for them because you just can't win. You can't win. Anyway, I like tabs, and I hope the auto click feature becomes a paid feature.
Yes.
Just so we can talk more about it.
More about it. I'm excited to use the tabs. The first thing I did when those tabs got released on console, I went right into my no tab stash tab, where I launched all my body parts and oils and stuff. And I went right in and I loaded them up, and I had a smile. One of the best $10 I've spent in like the last week.
Oh, I'm good with it.
Also, did you see, since we're mentioned kind of some of the posts that he said, the future stash tabs, did you see the future of the year? What to expect this year?
I did. What did you think of it?
I thought it was very, I mean, POE 2 is coming out, and that's what everybody's talking about. And then from ExileCon, they were thinking that maybe the beta was going to come out. Now, anybody that's been paying attention to anything knows that it's likely not coming out this year. That post basically just solidified it.
Right.
Just said, hey, POE 2 beta, it's not 2020. It's going to be 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And no early, no late, no mid. They don't have an estimate. It's just, we're working very hard. Our team, one thing that I actually really like that he said was, because they've been so good with their deadlines, they only went back 1 week on their deadline for this league, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they've been working from home. And he said that the team has been just stretched and pushed. Like people have had to work so much harder to get what they have. And I mean, again, this is an extremely stable release, like we were saying. They were able to do that with only 1 week difference to their original goal. Like that's insane. But for him to say that was like, hey, listen, we have a lot of stuff. It's a lot more work than it seems. Just because we were off by 1 week doesn't mean we forgot to tie our shoelaces. Like there's a lot more going on in the background. And so it was cool to hear him say like, hey, maybe we might be able to launch this early. It was nice to hear him reference the Christmas break, that they really don't want to screw themselves around the Christmas break with the skeleton crew. So no, it was a good post. It was 100% thoughtful. Like it was just to set our expectations so we knew what was going on, and that's all that is a nice post.
It is a nice post. I don't actually care. And I get that maybe they do it because there's a lot of people who are going to want to know, but I'm just playing the game. Like, okay, I'm enjoying this league and I'll wait till whatever the next league is. And I'm going to take it league by league. And I don't care when POE 2 comes out. I'll play it when it comes out. I'm going to play the next league when it comes. Like yeah, it's cool, but it's not written for people like me. Cause it makes no difference to me.
It's written for people like me.
Yeah.
I love hearing that stuff. No, I like hearing how hard they work. It resets my expectations. It takes.
Hopefully, you'll be nicer around Christmas time this year.
Oh, please.
Oh, we remember.
They know Christmas is coming. There's no nice at Christmas.
So that was their what to expect this year, and then they also tied that into what we're working on, and that's I'm definitely more towards Harvest and changes for Harvest. So some of this stuff's kind of come out already. Like they talked about. Changing the drop rates, and the reward system needs to be fixed, and crafting outcomes, and
for the final boss
I've never even seen the final boss yet. Yeah. I don't know.
You're busy killing Cyrus Awakener level 8.
I am playing the Harvest a lot, or the Grove or whatever. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But the only thing that I cared about is they're adding stairs around the stupid portal. Why on earth did they ever make it? Like, how if you go back in time to what's the very first starting area called?
Lion Eyes.
They introduced a stairway up on the side of the beach to the waypoint, and people were like, oh my God, it's amazing. Did they not for a second think like, if we make this waypoint accessible through only one direction, maybe that's a bad idea. I just don't understand. When I first got into it, I was like, wait a minute, how come I can't just click right here? Cool. I'm happy that I'll be able to access the waypoint. Right now, I literally just dash all over the place in my grove just to get around. They increased the number of seeds that are already dropping. I hope they put some serious work into how the crafting side of it works, because it's not super intuitive. Like you'll have something that's like, oh, reroll a caster item. I think we talked about this on Friday and it hasn't changed. Like you don't. There was a great post on Reddit about chaos items not being able to roll chaos mods, and you're just like, well, it's a chaos. Like what am I don't understand. Why can I not do any mods to this? So I hope they do something to make that a little bit better. And then the Vulcan, whatever. I don't care. It's awesome.
They're constantly making Vulcan improvements. Yeah. I heard that not the reason, but Vulcan is really the only way they're going to be able to run their game on an Apple device. I didn't know that. It seemed there was a comment in there that said that Vulcan's kind of the key for running on the iOS.
I like in the beginning of the whole what we're working on, though, they said, in case you missed them, we've already released several small updates with improvements to Harvest. You can find them here, and here. And those are obviously all links. So again, that's cool. But you know what? Did you do your thing? I'm going to just keep playing the game.
Did you see the jewel changes?
I did.
Oh my goodness.
What do you think?
So smart. So smart.
Big change. Surprising, huge actually, change. To be honest.
It's like even more OP. They really want these to be a massive part of building. Basically, the biggest change is guaranteeing medium-sized jewels have another socket mod rolled onto it. That's guaranteed, so it's no longer something you can roll. It's
like an implicit now. It's like an enchantment to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it doesn't change.
So no matter what you roll, you're always going to have an extra or a jewel socket available, so you can attach a small jewel socket to the medium cluster. And large cluster jewels are always doesn't have to Item levels are relevant now. So it's item level 75. You can cross that out of your filter. Every single large cluster jewel is going to have 2 sockets, jewel sockets.
Yep.
Which is so cool. That makes them so much stronger, they were saying, because now all the other mods that could have rolled on those sockets just have a greater chance of rolling. You know what I mean? Because they're removing one of the affixes from there. I mean, it's just so great to have an item that you know you're guaranteed that mod.
I think I love it. I'm super happy about it. They have to adjust how they drop. I've purposefully ignored jewels so far this league because I don't like how they drop. I don't like having.
What do you mean how they drop?
I don't want to do delirium. I don't want to be forced to do the mirror. And it's not, like I said, I've been playing for a week. I'm up to Awakener 5 and I've seen 1 mirror. I don't know what's different. It's not like I'm juicing my maps a ton. I'm not adding a ton of stuff to it, but I'm running them all the way that they need to be, whether that's Vowed, whether that's rare, whether that's magic. I've seen 1.
If it's comparison to me, I think that's just complete horrible chance. I get them almost every second map, and I know that's not the ratio it's supposed to be. Yeah, I get them all the time
in front of people.
For the pace that I play, I can keep up with it.
Yeah.
Like I'm the only time that I'm running out of the fog is a horrible map layout, or I stop to do something like interact with my character, or talk on broadcast or something. Like I'm not rushing to complete it.
From the start of the game to where I am right now at level 91, Cyrus killed, I have 4 cluster jewels have dropped for me.
That's crazy.
That's not.
I'm way past that already. That's nuts. That's just, I think that's horrible. Hopefully it's horrible luck. Hopefully it's not something wrong with the.
I don't know what it is, but I don't like it. And so I've purposefully ignored them. I literally took them out of my build. The way I was designing my tree, I originally thought, okay, I'm going to grab these spots to run a cluster jewel set. And I was like, nah, it's not. I'm getting, first off, I have 4, so I have crap to pick from anyway. So yeah, I like this change though. Cluster jewels are awesome. I really, really do like them. I just don't like how they drop. But yeah, adding an enchantment now to giving you 1 and 2 sockets. I'm really curious how they roll now, because now you've taken that out of what you needed to roll.
And they've intentionally left it though. They've left it without adding anything else to make those nice affixes less or more rare. They've just left it. So now they're just so strong. And I think, what I think the most powerful part is that it's just guaranteed 2 sockets, like that large. It's like an implicit, like you're just guaranteed minion damage on a bone helm.
Yep.
But bone helms are really rare. Large jewels are not. And I think my favorite thing about all of this is you're adding the ability to have so many more nodes from your default originally planned passive tree. You're just loading people's minds up with creativity. Now, as a guide writer, I see people wanting to do their own thing with guides all the time, and cluster jewels are the perfect addition to the game to slowly separate. And I'm 100% agree with you. I think guides are very important to the game, especially for new people. But I think a lot of the times people might have played for 3 years and they've never actually made their own build. And cluster jewels are the perfect way to force people to think about their own build in their own way. I love it. I absolutely love the 2 sockets for large. I mean, even just 1 outside node on your tree, 1 jewel socket on the outside of your tree, all of a sudden you're like 20 nodes that can be outside of your originally planned tree because of those 2 large socket jewels. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it's a good change. All right. Let's talk about Harvest. Hey?
Let's talk about Harvest, baby. Let's talk about
we haven't actually gotten too much into the actual league mechanic.
Well, you've progressed.
Yeah.
Why don't you go? You do it.
So I've really, really liked it. I mean, I think the thing I like about it is it's passive. I don't have to do it. I can, as long as I click them, my growth cycle moves on. I do go into it almost every single time. I had a lot of fun. Again, it's crazy to me that we're only a week in, because there were evenings where I spent the whole evening designing my grove. And I have to give a really big shout out to the Minesweeper professionals out there that have designed some of these designs. Like, they clearly know their Minesweeper game really well. They are crazy. So I've stolen some of their designs, which, again, I love that. It's like my hideout. I don't have to think. Just tell me where to put this. So
auto download coming soon.
Yeah, that's right. Just let me, yeah, exactly. So I had a lot of fun building the Grove. Like I've got, I think 3, and I might even need to change it to 4 tier 1s for each color. I have, I want to say 24 storage for each color currently running. I've got sections for running all of my tier 2 seeds, and then a section for all of my 3s and 4s. And it's just fun. It's just something to do. Like I don't use the crafts that much. I'll be honest. The crafts need some work because leveling, they were great. And 5 linking has been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I have used them just because I have so much stored life force that I'm like, well, I just save some items that I'm like, oh, I might want to play around rolling this, the Stygian Vice or something. So I play with them or a certain type of ring. I just play around with it until I might get something that's good for me. But I would never use it. Well, I can't think of a time that I would use it on an existing piece of gear. But I will say there's some really powerful stuff you can do, like the ability to. I'm going to use cold as an example. The ability to remove a cold modifier and add a cold modifier is actually, it's really, really strong, because what it means is if I took, let's say, a ring or boots or gloves or something, and it didn't have cold resistance on it, right? That means that I could go craft cold onto it, which means now I can't craft anymore on it, right?
Yeah.
Go into the harvest, use that particular craft to remove the cold resistance, and have a very high likelihood that it's going to put on a cold resistance stat onto my gloves. And now I can actually go and craft something onto it. So it's given me the ability to multi-craft almost items. And you can do that through fire, lightning, and cold.
Chaos.
Yep. Yeah, you could do it with chaos. Chaos is probably a little harder to get the chance of it hitting right.
No minion love, though. No minion love.
Minions there's no minion stuff at all. It's really bizarre, but I don't care about minions.
SRS is just too strong.
That must be
SRS
what it is.
is just too strong.
They're getting nerfed. But I think they need to do some tweaking to the crafting, because it's not super useful end game besides just for fun. And now the one thing that I've also found is, now that I'm filling out my Atlas, I will probably just be giving away a lot of my level 75 and lower tier seeds, just because I think it's level 76 and higher that tends to give the better crafts. I can't remember exactly what it is, but you're getting so many more now. There are some things I would like to see them remove. Like if you came into my Grove, the amount of pylons, distributors or dispersers, and store, like seeing all of it makes it very, very difficult to understand, like, where am I supposed to plant this tier 2 seed? Because it's really hard to see exactly everything. And
gotcha.
But I like it. I think it's fine. I mean, I know people don't like it. I heard there was a lot of crying on Reddit, shockingly, about Harvest. But again, it's a passive thing to me. I don't feel like I'm forced to do it. And I'm fine with that. It's fun. I love the 5 link. Oh my God.
It's cool.
It's so much nicer.
Nice.
I imagine solo self-found people are probably loving the crap out of Harvest.
Wetting their pants in a good way.
They have to be. And now that you've got more seeds, yeah, I think it's great. What about you?
What's the? I'll get into me in a second. I have 2 questions for you. What's the collision detection like? Like I've been very apathetic to the league. So, but as a ex video game
you can't
employee, I care greatly about collision detection. What's it like? Would it make me nauseous?
I don't know what would make you nauseous. If I have like all my storage devices are all right on top of each other, right? Like they're all right beside each other. Yeah. I can run between them, but your player does the little like jig.
Oh, the screen shake. Oh,
screen shake's off, but it's definitely not. It's not like you're just running straight through it. If that makes sense, there is a little bit of a stutter.
Is there collision detection with the seeds when they're harvesting, or like while they're growing?
Oh boy,
I feel like there is, but I'm having to be so picky with my mouse because anyway, I'm just curious because I'm not going to be doing it. See, because
in addition to that, you were talking about the mouse. One more question
for you before I forget, but you go ahead. I hope I'm not going to forget it.
With the mouse is if you accidentally control left click to pick up a seed, and you accidentally hit like a disperser or a collector, it's terrifying when you have a design that this Minesweeper professional created, because I'm like, oh my God, where do I put this back?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I could imagine.
What's your question?
You remember your fear and your vent prior to the league release about you're using physical modifiers as an example,
Yes.
and it was your fear of losing an Exalt.
Yep.
You remember those conversations?
I do.
So this question is mostly for return listeners because I don't really remember how to word it properly. But do you feel like you've been losing Exalts with this crafting system, or is it, with the exception of, is it as thorough as you wanted it to be, or is it as vague as you were scared it was going to be?
So they created the horticulture machine, which allows you to store 3 crafts if you want to. It's very expensive to make, but I do have one of them. But I'll be honest, in again, all the time that I've played, I've never yet come across a craft that just adds a modifier, which would exactly be what an Exalt would be. I've not come across it at all. So maybe it's just rare. Maybe it's higher. I don't know.
But you don't feel like you've missed out, which was kind of your fear, whether it was an Exalt or not. You don't feel like you've missed out by not knowing what you were going to craft until it became available.
No, well, the only time that came up is for both Ethan and I was with a 5-link when we didn't have something to 5-link. So you kind of feel like stuck. And I know some people in our private league have gotten into a point of wanting to do like a bestiary or can't remember what the other one was, specific item that there was a craft for, which they didn't have. Now, if you had the horticulture machine, you could at least store up to 3 crafts with it. So you could do that if you had it. But again, to get 1800 life force means that you need to have a relatively well-grown, at least halfway filled tier 2, probably even a little bit more, tier 2 seeds. No, about half to get 1800 life force. So it's, it's not something you're going to have right off the bat. It hasn't been a concern for me, but I have not seen a single craft yet that was just, and I assume it's probably because it's rare.
Yeah.
But I thought that they talked about that through the leveling process, this was going to be like a relatively common thing to help out your leveling. Never saw it while I was leveling. And maybe that was the whole thing that they're talking about balancing. Because they did talk about fixing, the balance of crafts and stuff. I didn't see them at all leveling up.
Well, you've had horrible delirium luck. Maybe you have horrible harvest luck.
Yeah,
too.
and I don't actually care. I just love walking in there and seeing like pink, yellow, and blue. It's all bright. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
I like that color combo for sure.
Yeah. What do you think?
I'm glad I remembered. I'm actually the complete opposite. I have no complaints against the system. I just don't care about it.
Okay.
Like the whole league. For one, without getting into multiplayer like we did last time.
Terrible.
Because I'm playing with you, I have zero reason to grow anything.
It's so dumb.
I may as well just give you my seeds, which is what I'm doing. Though now you've just recently told me my below 75 level seeds don't even matter to you. So whatever. Yeah. But no, like because I'm constantly playing with you, I have zero reason to have my garden. I'm always in your maps.
One simple fix is they make it so that the clock ticks for everybody. That's literally it. That's all they need to do is make it so the growth cycle counts for everybody. I'm going to bring that up every episode till they do it. Every single episode. I don't even care if we get into 4.0.
Let's hope it doesn't go core
and
so
POE
that we don't have to talk about it too
long. I'm going to talk about it till the end of time.
POE 3.
Growth cycle
I'm
for everyone
really
in the
excited
map.
For POE 3. Now, but I have to say, we didn't level together. And this, I was pretty apathetic. Like I still interacted with the league mechanics, but I definitely didn't put much thought into it, much effort into it. I didn't realize that the tutorial, like the quest that it shows up in your world map, that stays in Act 1. And I didn't start noticing that I was missing something until Act 3 or something. So I kind of missed some of the stuff and I got a little bit of a late start to it. But this is the first time now. I'm the type of leveler where I'm going to choose the colors of my sockets and links before mods. Like I'm happy to have normal items with the proper socket colors all the way through mapping and just die lots as opposed to have good mods and level my gems later.
Painful.
It is. But this is the first time with just apathetically using the machine. I mean, I'll put my items in and say, oh yeah, okay, I'll use this one and I'll put some small thought into that. But I'm not caring about what mods show up. I'm just wanting to kill monsters and then I'll interact with the machine to see what it's going to give me. This is the first time with that type of apathetic use that I've gone and I've always had my resist capped. Always.
Yeah, resists have been great this league for me too.
And it made leveling I don't like leveling. No offense to the story creators of the lore, but I'm not a fan of leveling over and over.
Yep.
Like you, I'd pay to get to level 70.
Yep.
But it made leveling a lot easier. It was definitely a lot less irritating than it would normally be for someone with my play style.
Mm-hmm.
Something I do really like is that unlike a lot of other leagues, you get an infinite amount of tries, it seems. Maybe not for the boss battles, maybe there's different portals. But if you die while you're fighting the mobs that come from the plants, you just go back to the original portal. Like, when you die in Alva, you actually go back to your hideout. Then you got to go back into the map, and then you got to go back.
Don't you
you know what I mean?
I thought that was the whole thing with this one.
No,
was
with
that,
Harvest. I haven't fought any bosses yet. I'm just
I've
doing
never
the
died
tier
in them.
ones. But if I've died, which I've never have.
You don't go back to your hideout? You actually stay
you go back to
where the entrance is to the harvest.
So when you're mapping, you go back to your map. So you're not actually using up portals, and it seems like you get an infinite try.
Okay.
It might be different for bosses, but I do like that because as somebody who is just doing it casually, I can do that small content casually, and it doesn't really hurt me. I don't feel like I'm not accomplishing it. So that's cool.
Just made yourself giggle.
Yeah.
Oh, Tyler, you're so funny.
But I do find that for me and the style of play that I like, everything beyond tier 1 seeds is lost on me. I'm not the type of gamer that they would do it for. Now, it's not a criticism to how it goes. It's just that's not for me. I like things like Breach. I like Abyss. I like Metamorph. Like, those are battles that are right there, right off the bat. The only reason that I collect seeds is I'm going to auto click so all the seeds disperse. I'm just excited for when they're ready to fight. Right? I'm going to wait till everybody is ready to go. And if I can click on 3 or 4 gardens all at once, I'm clicking as many as I can. But that's it. Like, the only time I like to spend not earning XP is figuring out my character. But to someone like me, this league is like needing to do a mini game to access my crafting bench. Like, I have no problem spending time with my crafting bench and dealing with the gear that I have in my hideout. But for me, for this, it's like I have to go through, and it's like I'm having to do an elaborate hideout organization that takes me a long time to figure out and to micromanage just so I can access my crafting bench.
And I agree with you. I will say once you understand how the 1, 2, 3, 4 tiers work, it's not so bad, but they do need to do a better job of making the UI a little better when you're in the grove, because you have to run all over the place to figure out where things are at and what state they're in. And it's not very nice to do it quickly. You can't do it quickly. You just can't.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, just for the type of play that I like, I don't want to deal with the micromanagement of a garden. You know what I mean? Like, to me, if this was to ever go core somehow, I would want them to remove everything but the seeds. Like, no cords, no harvesters, no nothing, just the seeds. And you can auto click, or you could manually plant the 2s, with surrounded by 1s, or however it works. But then it just be the fight. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you have the seeds, you fight, here's your crafts.
I think this is a really easy league for them to not go core. I think it's a really easy one for them to not take.
What's the last league they didn't go core? Synthesis?
Yeah. Same crafting
and then
league.
What?
It was a crafting league as well.
But I mean, it's pretty far and few between when they don't start adding things to core. And I'm curious because a lot of these things they're testing maybe to see if it's going into POE 2. So
yeah, this is definitely.
But I
would
want it to be a lot more hands-free. I want a lot less micromanagement if it's going into core. But that's just for me. It's not a criticism to the league. It's just my personal preference. It's no breach.
Mm-hmm.
So last league, you started as the wrong class.
Supposedly.
Never going to get over that one. Yeah, supposedly, sure. This league,
allegedly.
This league, you buy the wrong support pack.
I bought the one I wanted as well.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, good for you.
I needed it to go with my pitchfork that I got from the mystery box.
Well, money well spent.
Yep.
So, what do you think's going to happen next league? What do you think you're going to do wrong next league?
Well, I'm not aiming for things, you jerk.
Well, let's just say maybe it's time for another vacation. And maybe that should be ExileCon 2.
That's a mistake?
No, I'm just saying because you're making so many mistakes. Come on, work with me. Goodness me, it's like I'm talking
not following.
Because you're making so many mistakes that are very obvious mistakes. You obviously need a vacation, so your excuse to go to ExileCon 2. A vacation from your problems. You obviously have a legitimate excuse to go to ExileCon 2.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go to
That's
ExileCon too. Sure.
Screw you.
Well, you're not going to come?
Well, I want to.
Plan ahead, Tyler.
I hate you.
Plan for the unexpected, and the unexpected plans for you. That makes sense.
Go write your own stupid wall plaques for your house, okay?
All right. What's your newbie tip of the week this week?
Level the gems that you're thinking about using in your offhand weapon. That's
You mean
something
in
I
your
forgot a
swappable
lot.
weapons?
Yeah.
It's different.
Sorry, not in your offhand. That's right. In your second weapon set.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I forgot a lot when I was new. You know, I'd want to try this skill out or that skill, and I wasn't sure what would work. I totally forgot about my swappable weapon set. So level the gems that you're thinking about. Where maybe it's like your 6th link. You know, maybe you're planning on a 5 link, but that 6th node just in case.
Or in addition to that, the main skill you're using, level multiple versions of it so that you can val it and maybe get a 21.
Yeah.
I double corrupted my 2020 ball lightning.
Ooh.
It turned into a level 19 quality 17.
Hey.
Not happy.
Bragging material right there.
Stupid temple. It's Alva's fault.
Do you always is? Do you have a newbie tip of the week?
It's going to be specific to this league, and that is take advantage of the league crafting. It's actually
that doesn't even count. You used that one already.
Did I?
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
That's all right. We'll pretend you didn't.
Did I really?
It's still good advice. Still good advice.
How did I already use that on the day that the league came out? There's no way that was my first day.
You're just that creative.
Tip? Yeah, I got nothing else. Use it.
No, it's a good tip. It's a good tip.
I don't know. It's awesome. I loved it for leveling. So do the thing.
Yeah.
Craft.
do the thing.
Yeah. You just need tier 1.
I wasn't even paying attention, and I was max resist all the way through. Good tip.
Did you do the league crafting for resist?
No. All I cared about the entire time was life rolls. And then once I got a good life roll, I just stuck with it. Most of the time I couldn't get a good life roll because I was still using an item that was item level 10. So the best life roll I could get was like +9.
Right.
So a lot of the times it was pointless because I was caring about which socket links I had.
Ugh.
And I'm not a hoarder.
It's so funny because you can do that entirely through Harvest, right? Because you can change like how many links there are, how many sockets there are, what the colors are.
Yeah, but I'm not going to go out and keep 5 of every item class just in case. I'm
it
not
is
a hoarder.
one of the problems.
I'm
You
not
got to
going to
hold
keep
stuff,
it.
yeah. But you can pull right from your stash,
that.
so it's not that bad.
I'm not just keeping these random magic items in my stash.
Because you got to save the space for...
I'm not picking them up. Listen, I'm the one that picks everything up, and you're telling me I'm not picking up enough. Get out of here. Oh, I don't want to click up body parts.
You pick it up to sell it.
The world is ending. Oh, metamorph.
You pick it up for transmutations and like alchemy shards.
I pick up rares. Or I'll pick up the links that work for me. That's it. I'm not picking up a whites and magic. Get out of here. Longest newbie tip of the week.
Well, it's the best one though. Anyway, I think that wraps up episode 34 of Forever Exiled, a Path of Exile podcast. I am Tags, aka Justin.
And I'm Wrecker, aka Days.
Yeah, man, those suck. You're just the worst. I feel like people have commented to me that, or was it to you, that you're... I'm pretty sure it's you.
My intros and my outros suck. Yeah.
No, well, some people like them. I think a lot of them like it. There's just some weirdos out there. Anyway, thanks a lot for joining us for episode 34. You can find information down below. Show notes are down there. And we've got our website, foreverexiled.com. We've got Twitter, foreverexiled82.
You said it right this time.
Link to Patreon is down there with, you can just check out our different tiers that we have. And for everyone who is a patron, we'll catch you in After Dark. And our Discord. Oh, and if you're interested in joining the private league, it's a short private league, this Harvest League.
2 more weeks.
Yeah, so just a little bit left in that one. But yeah, you can find that information on our Discord. Discord link is down below as well. And we will catch you in episode 35. Thanks for joining us.
Enjoy Harvest.